Got a lot of ground to cover, so I'm going to put this down. You guys, hang on just a second. Happy Saturday. All right. Good to see you guys. Hope you guys are good and have a good day, good weekend. It's been a rough week for a lot of people. Just people are really isolated, and I would say just stay connected some way with others and reach out. I want to talk to you about the political things are very hot right now. People are very tense, and something I've been thinking about a lot is a term I heard called the cults of codependency, and I've heard that it was an article once. One of the most provocative titles I've heard. You know, I read a lot, so anyway, I started researching it. It was kind of an article about the alcohol recovery scene that the author was trying to say, well, these people that are going to AA, they're kind of codependent. They're supposed to help other people. And it's kind of like, well, people that are addicts are addicted to themselves. Basically, all addictions is addiction to self. And then by helping others, you learn to become other-centered. So you're kind of like trying to balance out your life, which I think is a real good. I don't think it's cult. It's ridiculous. I mean, a lot of people have put down that thing probably because they're addicts themselves, you know, the guy who wrote it. You know, I thought that was an interesting title, though. How does codependency affect us in our political and our spiritual views? I've seen a lot of things, so I want to describe codependency first. I'll let you guys fill in lines. I'm going to try and cover a lot of ground. People that are codependent they're rescuing or they enable dependent and irresponsible behavior. You see that in just different government programs, always trying to rescue people. We just let people continue to be irresponsible with their lives. You see that too in churches too, like in a spiritual sense. Sometimes that can be a problem. They're rescuing people, but they're not really giving them the truth about, hey man, you gotta work on your life, you know. Let me just go down the list here. Second, can't say no, poor boundaries. Like we have open borders, you know, let's just leave everything open. Or in any kind of program, people want, hey, let's just have it, free everything, free just stuff, everything. Don't say no to anything. It kind of makes me think of that term, a yes man. So he just says yes to whatever comes along. They just can't say no to anything. 3, need to control others. Just different laws that people get into politics. You know, a lot of times I think are very codependent. They want to control the situation. And it's not good. 4, confuse love with self-pity. Pretty self-explanatory. People that you think you love somebody, but it's just, poor person, poor thing. 5, they value what others think of them more than what they think of themselves. They fear being judged. They fear abandonment. They settle for, someone who's an addict, a lot less. But that person won't abandon them. They'll stay with them. And 6 is the homing instinct. The people that are raised in alcoholic families, they are dysfunctional. They're raised in that environment where they're looking at mom and dad and they're fighting or whatever, or they're not talking, and they try and fix it. And then as they get to be adults, they take that in their adulthood, and they're like, okay, now I can take care of this. I can fix this problem. And you can plug that in for political beliefs. People have been talking a lot about narcissism. I've been seeing that a lot in the news, and people, hey, you're a narcissist, like, what are you talking about? Like, anyway, a real narcissist would be like an oligarch, say North Korea, or you look at China, or, Russia. This extreme dictatorship. It's a communist dictatorship, okay? You got one guy, but in a relevant sense here would be like someone who's addicted to themselves. Maybe they're very charismatic and they're very truthful, but they're still really into themselves, and which describes a lot of us. And then on the other end of it, I think would be a codependency, someone who rescues a narcissist, and or a dependent person, but there are really a lot of mercy in them. And I kind of think we need both. I think an ideal would be a moderate, or if you say like, okay, if you're like partially over this way, and then maybe partially over this way, where you're not an extreme. See, narcissists will be like, well, I'm taking care of myself. Whereas this person's like, I'm taking care of others, like, right? But it's like at an extreme where it's like they don't take care of themselves. They're always worried about everybody else. They don't worry about, and even, I'm going to say this right now with the political things going on, it doesn't matter. What happens, that doesn't matter as much as what happens inside of you. Taking care of yourself and your own financial situation, your own, relationships with others. And so I want to explain it. I was kind of researching though, because some people say, codependency, doesn't seem, trying to put it down, they're discounting it. But I would say there is probably one other aspect that I've seen that's been really helpful. Is this it's a Myers Briggs test, and they have different temperaments like E or I, and the other one is S, and here's ENTJ, which I kind of think you look at someone like it's called a field marshal, which might be someone that people might look at as like, hey, that guy is just this is like an extrovert, creative, thinking, and judging. Someone who likes to make decisions, the judging, they're thinking. And the opposite of that would be the feeling person, which is someone who will, they'll get upset over a movie, or they're just very feeling. And the other one is perceiving, which is someone who, a perceiver is someone who shops around and then makes a decision, whereas a judging person just likes to make quick decisions and then just kind of go with it. And I would say someone else kind of over on this side would be an ESFP, it's called a performer, and a teacher, which is ENFJ. And it's kind of, it's kind of a little bit, a lot to it. It's not too confusing to me, but this is someone who's an extrovert. They're more, S is for sensible, and they're feeling and perceiving. So a sensible person, they just follow the rules, and they just kind of, they're not as creative as the ENFP. Messenger is someone who'd be like the writer or journalist. And then over on this side, the people have been putting down codependency, and you can research it for yourself. And I always feel like, just name it. If you have a problem, just name it, and that way you can deal with it. And I'm going to put this up. We're going to talk about just helping people. It's more than anything, inspiring people here. Just name what something is. Just trying to be helpful. I'm not trying to put anybody down, because we all kind of need each other. Kind of politics, it kind of swings back and forth. The Democrats take it and the Republicans take it. And anyway, you need both parties, because if you have just one party, then that's when you have a dictatorship. You have either the oligarch, or you have kind of like a cult of codependent, where there is control, a lot of control, and they have they just a lot of what communism's about is same. Everything is the same, and everyone gets rescued. And so that can have some problems. And people don't learn to take care of themselves or be responsible. Anyway, when I go back through a couple of the Myers Briggs that they had, that I think because I've been reading some stuff that's been saying that codependency is kind of like people kind of have this natural ability they're just kind of merciful. They're not codependent. They're just in their wiring, which would be the Myers Briggs. It would be someone who's more of a. Well, here's the opposite of Field Marshal was INFP, and it's called a healer. So, someone who's a healer will say, "Oh gosh, this guy is so out there. He's a thinker. He's judging. He's not feeling things. He's just shoot from the hip." Where a perceiver, they're always having a hard time making decisions. I mean, the brilliant thing about them is they're always looking for new answers, but they have a hard time just making decisions and sticking with it. And whereas the J, they just like to make decisions. And so that's what you end up with, folks. And I think we can all just try and get along, try and be in the middle, try and find a middle ground where you're listening to both the left and the right. Someone was trying to, Trump came up with this America First thing. Well, that came from China, and China had a doctrine out that said China first, and they were trying to say, well, we're gonna take over, we're taking over the world, and our way of life is better than yours, and they wanted all of our intellectual property. Anyone who does business in China gives up their intellectual property, and so the whole America First. Someone tried to explain to me once that, okay, let's look at like an airplane up in the sky. When it has a hole in the engine or a hole in the plane, and everyone has to get their mask on. They say first put your mask on, and then help the person next to you. And it really, you take care of yourself first, and then you can help others. Get yourself nurtured, and then you'll have something to give to others. Be loved, and then you can love others. Whereas sometimes I think I'll talk about this in another. People on this side, codependency, they're too busy thinking about other people that they don't take care of themselves, and they have like it's like a love tank. They're just running on empty a lot. Anyway, I hope that helps you. I know it did me when I took the Myers Briggs test, and I've been through codependency classes in different groups, and they're great groups if you get a chance. They have online meetings and these Zoom meetings. They're all free, so try and be connected. It's really a tough time for a lot of people right now, so I hope that helps, and hope you feel inspired. You said helping and inspiring people. That's what it's all about. Can't judge that. Anyway, you guys, hope you like it and subscribe. We'll see you later, okay?